Let's do it. Yo, what it do, nation? Johnny Spytek is the new GM. Who will be the coach for the Las Vegas Raiders? Will it be Pete Carroll? Will it be some names we don't know that's still possibly in the playoffs? Let's get it all unleashed on Raiders Unleashed.
I was born to be a Raider. 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 Win, lose, or tie. Raiders till I die. Ain't nobody even.
What it do? What it do? Welcome to Raiders Unleashed. Not any breaking news, but we do have a new GM. Raiders are still searching for that head coach. Not many candidates left. They are dropping like flies. Pete Carroll is at the tops of the list. We'll break that down. Who will be his coordinators if he does decide to take the job? Also, Robbie Leonard. What is the deal with Robbie Leonard? Does he stay with the Las Vegas Raiders? They have denied chances for other teams to speak with him, which looks good for us. Will he stay with the Raiders? We'll break all that down. Um, man, coaches are going like crazy, right? Aaron Glenn, I do believe, to the Jets. Patrick Graham might be looking like Jacksonville. Liam Cohen has turned the job down and said he's staying with Tampa Bay to be the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL. Shout out to that. Let's get to the chat. Trust Raiders, baby. What's good? What's good? Appreciate you pulling up. Still a lot to talk about. Oh yeah, there's all kinds to talk about. But mainly the big talk, of course, is who's gonna run the ship, right? You know, it's a tall task, and as the title says, my man Spytek might have just took on the biggest task of his life sitting with the Raiders roster. We have, I believe it's 27 free agents on our roster, and people keep saying, the defense is a big reason why head coaches want to take this job. The way I see it right now, we don't have a defense. We have a couple of guys that are still under contract, Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins. But where's Max Crosby going to be at the end of the year? How's those negotiations going to go? So, for somebody to come in and take this job with where we're sitting is kind of why I believe Ben Johnson walked. I mean, not the main reason. Who wants to raise their kids in Vegas? That's another tough thing when you got young kids. But then the quarterback situation, we have no quarterback. And this roster right now, the way it sits, is absolutely terrible. There's been all the talk about 120 million, 109 million. Some say it's 92 million. Wherever that money is, if we sign just 8 of our top free agents, that's somewhere around $70 million, which leaves us with projected maybe 20 to 30 million dollars to bring in a franchise running back, a franchise quarterback, a shutdown corner, help on the offensive line, 2 linebackers. The list goes on and on. So, I mean, the job is not as pretty as it looks. And I think Pete Carroll would be the best. Furpo, what's up? Appreciate you pulling up. In my opinion, you know, all the talk about age should go out the window. We want experience, right? You want experience. You want a head coach that knows what he's doing, that knows how to turn a franchise around, that knows how to create a Legion of Boom defense. I mean, the possibilities are endless with the guys he could bring in. Could you get a Richard Sherman to come out that deal on TV and maybe be defensive backs coach? I mean, the possibilities are endless with the amount of clout that Pete Carroll has in the NFL. As long as he's been in the NFL, like there's not many people. If Pete Carroll calls and says, "Yo, I got this job for you," they're gonna listen, right? So, I think that's a big, big part of it. And also, you got Spytek in the building, which we all know is Brady's, longtime friend, buddy, played college, all that stuff. Who's gonna really want to come work under the owner's best friend, standing over your shoulder with everything you do? I think Pete Carroll fits that. He's been there, he's done that. He ran a team, was pretty much the general manager and the coach. We know how he can draft. So I think that's the best fit. Will he be the guy? All signs are pointing to it, but all signs also pointed to Ben Johnson. And look how that went. I was one of the guys that said, don't sign that contract yet. Don't go all in because Ben Johnson's going to pull out. Positive necessary. you know, leave us standing at the altar. He did the same thing with the Commanders, and that's his MO. And for me, I'm glad, bro. Like, if you didn't want to be a Raider, don't be a Raider. Move on, take the job you wanted. And that was the main reason I was a big advocate for Antonio Pierce staying. Nobody wants this job more than Antonio Pierce. Nobody wanted to turn this franchise around, and nobody wanted to take the chance of bringing this ship back to a float because we've been sunk for a long, long time. So getting the ship, back to afloat is a big, big thing. And what coach is willing to step in and take on take on that task when you have the owner's best friend running the show? So Pete Carroll seems to be the guy, unless, there's somebody like a Joe Brady or somebody in these playoffs that they're looking at, like a Todd Monken, which from what I hear still has not said whether he's taken the interview or not. So, man, that's another thing that can hurt us. Let me get into this chat before it gets too far behind. Oh, there ain't nobody talking. New England Raider Booster, what's good, my guy? Um, we keep taking Carol. What? We keep talking Carol. Is that the others? Spytek even want Carol? I mean, I don't know who Spytek's gonna want, right? We don't know. We don't know. And a lot of people have already forgot about Jed Hughes, right? Like, wasn't Jed Hughes brought in to be this matchmaker between general manager and head coach? So, you know, Tom Brady went on what Colin Cowturd, I think it was, yesterday, and said he's learning on the fly, right? He's he's learning as he goes. So just like our head coach kind of did last year, right? You learn as you go. So he's not making all the decisions. He's got other people in the building, and reports are that he's leaning on Richard Seymour very heavily on his opinion, which I thought his opinion was Antonio Pierce. So I don't know how that's working out for him, but man, it seems like to me, letting Antonio Pierce go that fast, and Tom Telesco, which I wasn't a big Tom Telesco fan, but man, it just seems like it kind of sank this ship even farther because now we don't know where we're going to be. And if we take a guy like Pete Carroll, you know, his age when it comes to long term is a problem. But if you look at the Raiders' history, we've had Madden for 10 years, we had Flores for 8 years, and the average coach after that lifespan is a year and a half. So, everybody's saying this guy can't be here for the long term, but who's been here for the long term? Nobody. We've had nobody but Madden and Flores been here long term. So Gruden was the next longest coach, I believe, like 3 years, 4 years. So yeah, I mean that's a huge, huge problem, and the candidates are falling fast. So unless they have an ace up their sleeve, or like, no pun intended on the why I said that, but some kind of tricks, Pete Carroll seems to be the guy. And I'm not mad at Pete Carroll at all because he does have a son, Brendan Carroll, who's a Washington Huskies. I don't know what all he does, but he's the offensive coordinator and I think the offensive line coach or quarterback coach, not positive. So don't check me on that. Cowtown Luda, what's good in the building? Chris for Raiders. All right, now just blowing up, and I got behind. Shit, I got the Furpo. Who else in here? I didn't see. 831 Raider, what's good? What's good? What's good? Rick, my guy, appreciate you. All right, y'all got anything to say before I keep rambling on? Carol will be is the guy, just not announced yet. Yeah, I seen that on your X, my guy. So Cowtown Luda says he has an inside take that Carroll is the guy. It's just not announced yet. We shall see. Um, Respectfully, I think Monken offers us the best all around head coach. He's mid 50s, settled in maturity, lots of experience, and is still on top of the winning schematics. And he has ties to Spytek. But he's been offered, he's been offered an interview and hasn't taken it yet. So there's a long, history between the Ravens and the Raiders organization, and they don't really like us much. So there could be a chance where he might be like, no. But, money talks. And when you got an opportunity to take a job like, head coaching job for the Raiders, I mean, come on. With this organization and the history of this franchise, but however, is Tom Brady killing that? Everybody's saying Tom Brady has this clout and this pull, and he has all this say. But is that the reason Ben Johnson left? Does Ben Johnson say, all right, I'm not going to have to build a team the way I want to build a team? There's too many guys above me that, have too much say, and I'm not going to take that, right? Like we've seen from Ben Johnson's interview that he wants all the pull. Now, a lot of people say he looked goofy in his interview, but I thought the man was straight to the point. He was pretty bold for, as goofy as I thought he looked, but he knows what he wants, it seems like. Can he bring that? I don't know. Like, to me, he seems just like another Dick Daniels where he just, his attitude might not be able to mesh and, get guys to play behind him. But if it does, man. Sup, Ray and Chris. Cowtown Luda says, can I see that up there? Oh, I don't know. For one, like Carroll's choice, he is an excellent head coach. I mean, yeah, look at the people he's drafted. Another guy we'll get into here in a second, but, Richard Sherman, the list goes on and on. Russell Wilson, the quarterback they got now in Seattle. For being a defensive guy, he is the quarterback whisperer, right? Like, he got a lot out of a guy who was drafted. Where was Russell Wilson drafted? Third or fourth round, was third string sitting on the roster. They brought in, I don't know why I can't think of his name. They brought in a quarterback and paid him way too much money, kind of like the situation in Atlanta where Kirk Cousins was brought in, paid way too much money, and they drafted Michael Penix, and now he's the guy. So, Russell Wilson wasn't supposed to be that guy. He was too small in the NFL, kind of like they say, about Gabriel over there coming out. But the man proved him wrong, right? He came out and he took the bull by the horns, and the rest is history. He took him to a Super Bowl. So, hope they're waiting for Cliff or Brady. It might. I mean, it seems to me like that is the scenario, right? Why not hire Pete Carroll right away if that's your guy? Let him start cooking in the building. Let him put his squad together. Bring in his crew. I thought Robert Salah and maybe Mike Flores, a guy I've talked about many times on this show, which I thought they would give a look at head coach, but I guess that's not a possibility. But even as offensive coordinator, and I know he's offensive coordinator for the Rams, and you can't make a lateral move. However, if you look at the Rams organization and Sean McVay, he's been a very, very solid dude at letting his offensive coordinators, um, like the one Liam Cohn, who's over in Tampa Bay right now, walk and take that job, even though it was a lateral move because he wasn't the play caller in Tampa Bay. McVay was the mastermind and the play caller. So he's let guys take those jobs. I think he also did the same thing with Matt LaFleur, Mike LaFleur's brother, who is over in Green Bay right now as we speak as the head coach. So, you know, if that's the case and he lets him, take a lateral move, Mike LaFleur would be the guy, bro, and he'd be a great, predecessor under Pete Carroll, and could be, the guy when Pete Carroll steps down. That's the way I would go. I just read that. Honestly, I think Carroll could do great things. I mean, just his experience alone. You have to look at his experience alone. And it wasn't a great ride, when he started out in the NFL. He didn't have experience, kind of like Antonio Pierce and other coaches that, get fired right off the bat. Salah, the list goes on and on. But he hung in there. He went back to college. He won a championship with USC. He goes back to the NFL and he doesn't leave. He stays with the team pretty much his whole career. So, I think that's a big, big, huge part is his loyalty to a franchise and the fact that in 14 years at Seattle, they only missed the playoffs 4 times. I mean, that's wild. So to have that, stability in a team like that that's constantly in the playoffs is what we need and what we want in this organization. Why are guys crying and bitching about this man's age if he can still do his job? At 73, that man could still throw a football 40 yards. Who in here in this chat can throw a football 40 yards? Like, come on. And what is your age? Let me know in the chat right now. Okay, do you think you could throw a football 40 yards at your age? And what is your age if you're willing to put it in the chat? Because I think Pete Carroll could outrun and, outthrow most of us probably in here. Well, I mean, I can still throw a football 40 yards. I can guarantee that. But some of us might not be able to, right? Damn, dude, what's going on? This weather is bullshit. I apologize. You see that Hogs? How about them Razorbacks upsetting Georgia last night? Throw that in there. What was I reading? Oh, I'm not a Monken believer. He can stay in Baltimore. Think it's been a choice for him. This is what I got to say about Tom Monken. And it's the same thing I said about Ben Johnson, right? Todd Monken has Lamar Jackson. No, they don't have any dominant, receiver, but they have Zay Flowers. They have Mark Andrews. And they have his flipping Henry, bro. You have a run game. You have a mobile quarterback. And you have plenty of weapons for him to throw the ball to. And you have a decent defense. No, they're not a great defense, which is, not what you see from Baltimore, because if you think about Baltimore Ravens or the Cleveland Browns, before they became the Baltimore Ravens, the first thing you think about is defense, right? Their solid defense, how they dominate the line of scrimmage, how they put pressure on the quarterback, how they create turnovers, how they, always have a solid safety. And that hasn't been the case with Baltimore, but I can just keep rambling on. But to my point, is Monken took over a damn good situation. Ben Johnson was the quarterback coach, was the passing game coordinator, got the OC job, but he got the OC job to a pretty damn good quarterback who is a veteran that if you give him time, the man will throw dimes like AOC. You just got to give him protection. You got two of the best running backs in the league in Montgomery and Gibbs. And, he's not going to have, yes, he has a good roster in Chicago, but not like the roster he had in Detroit. So I think these guys, that are running these offenses, same thing with Liam Cohen. You could say the same thing. I mean, bro, you got Mike Evans. You got Mike Evans over there who's had 1,000 yards every year he's been in the league. And then you got a quarterback that could throw the ball, that could run the ball in Baker Mayfield. So, I'm not sold on these offensive coordinators taking these teams that are already built, that have all these weapons, and, applying their system to them and making them good. You want to impress me? Go take a shitty team like the Carolina Panthers and build that roster up. Like, and you could say these guys did that, but no, the Detroit Lions were already on the come up. Like I said, they had all the pieces. They were just missing a couple puzzle pieces. And Ben Johnson came and was that piece. But can he be that man in Chicago as the head coach? I don't know. Can Munkin be that guy as the head coach? I don't know. Is he a leader of men? Are you going to get guys to bite into your system? And from the way Ben Johnson went in there and said, all the shit he said, try to be like a tough guy. I don't think that's going to fly in Chicago, bro. Like, I don't think some of those guys are going to be like, bro, you're not going to come in here and talk to me like that and try to push me around like that, head coach or no head coach. You got to go about it a certain way. Like, you got to know how to talk to people. And if you don't know how to talk to people, you won't have a job for long. Like, that's why it's called the NFL, not for long. Pete Carroll will bring culture. We had that culture, though. I'll digress. Fun to the locker room as well as discipline. I mean, yeah, Pete Carroll is definitely going to bring discipline. He loves his guys. He loves to teach you guys. You see him out there even when he wasn't the head coach and was running the operations. He was still on the field, throwing the ball. Running with those guys. And the man acts like he's 50 years old. And I think his girlfriend's like 30 or 20 or some shit. Isn't he one of those guys like Belichick? Popping one of them young girls. So come on, man. The dude, I don't think age is a problem. And yeah, he's going to change the culture. He's going to, bring discipline. And then Mark Carbone, what's good, what's good. You're going to bring in top staff, right? At every position. And hopefully, I don't pray for, guys to stay in the building much. I'm not a big fan of the staff, or the players. I don't try to get attached. But Luke Steckel just surprised the shit out of me, with what that dude has done. And the more I go back and look at Luke Steckel's his his resume, man, that dude has done a lot. He's been with a lot of good head coaches. He's been around a lot of systems, and he's done wonders with Brock Bowers, bro. Like, the man needs to stay. I think you can't, keep having the turnaround that we have the turnaround for like Aiden O'Connell, who's had two head coaches, four offensive coordinators, four quarterback coaches. I don't think you should do that to Brock Bowers. I think he digs the shit out of Steckel. I think they have a real good bond. I think that whole tight end room and those coaches. So hopefully with a Pete Carroll, he can, see the writing on the wall and be like, damn, this dude he's damn good at his job. Let's keep him in the building and keep him in house. And I hope that, some of those interviews that Mark Davis was doing were involved with that man, keeping him around in the building, and Phil Bond too. I think he did a damn good job with the O line. So, we'll see. But why haven't they signed Pete Carroll yet? That is the question. He was the only one to do an in-person interview. He was in the building most of the day. Reports are it went very, very well. And there's been other reports that he was the front runner before Ben Johnson became available. So that was the guy that they were number one on their list until, Tom Brady worked his magic and got the interview with Ben Johnson. So Tom Brady got his BJ. It just didn't last long. Didn't Spytek help us get Evans? Evans who? Evans who? What else? What else? Rumor has it there has been large quantities of chew gum delivered to Anderson. Oh, Cowtown. This chat would not be fun without you, my brother. Cliff is not coming. pause if necessary. I hope he's not, like, especially at the moment. Um, yeah, Cliff Kingsbury, bro, I think is a bigger pipe dream than Ben Johnson ever was. I, guys are just stuck on dreaming in this organization, and I can't I can't blame you, right? Like, it's just tatted on me. I've been a Raider fan my whole life. I bleed silver and black. I know the feeling. Like, you gotta have something to wish for, something to cheer for. Cliff Kingsbury's not it, bro. Come on, like, unless they offer that dude some crazy, 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 crazy thing after the way last year went, and they wouldn't give him a 3-year contract and let him walk. They could have tried to get Jaden Daniels. I don't think the way it went last year with him and the offensive coordinator thing that he's going to be like, okay, I'll come be the head coach of your team. I think that ship has sailed. And you got to look at the fact that he has the best quarterback in the NFL right now. And yes, I said it as a rookie. He has the best quarterback in the NFL. Jaden Daniels is spectacular. That dude is fire. And he's just going to continue to get better and better and better. God willing, he stays healthy. That man is on a mission to destroy. So why would you leave that situation? Why would you leave a situation like that where you have a chance to build your reputation back up and then go take any job you want to when you think that time is ready? If that's what he decides to do. So yeah, Cliff Kingsbury would be an absolute clown to walk away from the situation he's in right now. That just my opinion. Wrigley stock went up. Yeah, that's funny. I just bought some stock in that. No, I'm just kidding. Um, what else we got? Lake Show Raider, what's good? Appreciate you pulling up to the building. I heard the Titans are opening and trading out of the number one pick for number one. I heard that also, and no, fucking no, no, no. Shador Sanders is not worth trading up for, bro. I'm telling you. If Shador was the guy we wanted, why did you make Antonio Pierce go out there and lose meaningless games? Yes, I said it. They were meaningless at the point when we were number one. Yes, just win, baby, all the time. But why force the situation? Why put in Aiden O'Connell? There was so many things you could have did to not tank and just say, we're trying to save guys for next year and call it what you want to. But to have that spot and then to trade up for it would be the stupidest thing we've ever done besides drafting Jamarcus Russell. I mean, come on, bro. Like, I don't know. If y'all are sold on Shador and he becomes the man, I will eat my words. I will be the first mofo to come up on here and say I was wrong. Shador is the guy, whatever, bow to Shador. But bro, until he proves me wrong, I'm not on that Shador train, and I'm sure the hell not trading up for him. There is no way. Now, if he falls at 6, which he could very well do, especially if the Titans are willing to trade out of that number one pick, maybe somebody wants Cam Ward very, very bad, and maybe they trade up for that number one pick and get Cam Ward, and maybe that scrambles the whole entire draft, and Shador falls at 6. Now, if he falls there at 6, with him in the connection with Brady, I wouldn't be mad at taking a chance. But to go get him, no, hell no, bro. Hell no. We already had him. That's the stupidest shit. And this organization makes itself look idiotic constantly, day in and day out, with the decisions they make. And to make a decision like that, bro, would be the Raider way. 100% would be the Raider way. I'll put it like that. We're gonna need to take his camera outside and see that shit. What can't wait? What? Uh, 60 years and can't throw. Go get our guy. Who's our guy though? Is Pete Carroll the guy? If Pete Carroll's the guy, then I think it would have already been a done deal. I don't know what they're waiting for. I have no idea. Let me catch up on this chat. Hawaiian Candy, appreciate you pulling up. Jeffrey, what's good? Mike Evans. Um, Salute Ray Rebel, wide receiver from Tampa Bay. Uh, what's good? Have a great show, Rebel. Hey, appreciate you, appreciate you. Real Talk Raider Nation. All right, we caught up. I think. Wow, bro, really? Y'all Raider fans are something else. Claim you want to win, but don't want to take chances. I'll tell you what. Let's do it like the things. Sign Tannehill out of retirement. Come on, you just talking crazy, bro. Like that would be just as wild as moving up for Shador Sanders, in my opinion. Like, there's too many quarterbacks in this draft, in my opinion, than trying to move up for Shador and praying he becomes that guy in Vegas in that situation. And you're gonna have his daddy, criticizing every move the Raiders make constantly if his son's not winning. If nah, bro, we don't need that shit in Vegas. We don't need that shit. Now, if Shador becomes a great quarterback, I'll be like, damn, I was wrong. We should have went that other way. But like I said, until then, bro, I'm not trading up for a Shador Sanders when there's so many players in this draft that we could get, like a Will Johnson, a shutdown corner, Abdul Carter, another just this crazy monster defensive end, and then you can go with a guy like a Jackson Dart or a Riley Leonard, or if you want to go stupid and go crazy, wait for a couple of years, you go get a Jalen Milrow and just run the ball like the Eagles do over there and let the guy pass for 130 yards a game and rush for 80 yards. I mean, but nah, bro. Talk all the shit you want. I'm not in on Sador. I'm just that he don't impress me, bro. There's nothing about him that impresses me. He's not athletic. He's not very mobile. He stands in the pocket and holds the ball way too long. And him and Cam Ward do the same thing. Instead of trying to run forward for a first down, they do the same thing that the guy in Chicago is doing, Caleb Williams. You're running back and forth, running 80 yards in one play, trying to scramble and get away from guys to be a highlight reel and make a play. Nah, bro, I'm out on that shit. No, 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 no. Call me what you want to, you content creators, blah, blah, blah. You got your opinion. I got mine. I just don't dig Shador. I don't think it's the guy. And I'm sure the hell not trading up for him, bro. No. Come on, man. That's wild, dude. That's wild. I'm listening. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Ray Love. Ray Love. Ray Love. What's Lake Show got to say? I thought y'all Raider fans would be happy with that comment. Seems what? Seems to be the Raider thing. Y'all fans. How is Shador a pretty thing though? I mean, yeah, he's a flashy thing. He always showing everybody his wrist. He always showing everybody, what he's got. That's fine. To me, I want a guy that loves football more than anything, that doesn't care about the internet, that doesn't care, about being flashy, about being in the headlines, about being relevant all the time. And to me, that guy is Riley Leonard. I'm sorry. Shador did not take his team to the college championship. He didn't even take his team to the playoffs. So come on, man. You got Riley Leonard over there that can throw the ball, that can run the ball. He's 6'4". He runs a 4.5 40, which is faster than Shador Sanders. Yes, faster than Shador at 6'4". Like, why would you not take a chance on a guy that's going to fall probably to the third or fourth round, which I believe his stock's going to go up, and he might go second or third by the time it's said and done. But why? Why risk draft capital to move up for a guy that you could have had it just sat at number one and lost games because they weren't hard to lose? All you had to do was put in another quarterback besides Aiden, like, and keep running the ball. And that shit would have been done. So no, bro. Like, I just don't. I'm not. Tannehill loves football. He's a perfect Raider. Sloppy seconds. Tannehill does love football, but no, I'm not in on that either. Vrabel might have got the best out of that dude in Tennessee for 2 years, but no, no. Tannehill is not the guy. If I'm going anything, I just go with the guy I said last year that we could have got for 1.4 million in Russell Wilson. Like, come on, man. If that guy's going to be available again, why would you sign a Tannehill? Why would you take a chance on an unproven quarterback in Shador and move up for him? Pretty much laughing my ass off. Get the fuck out of here. You rooting for your team. What? Rooting for the wrong team, buddy. Take that shit to San Francisco. Curious, why isn't the quarterback from Ohio getting more recognition? Bro, I'm wondering the same thing. I think Will Howard, played his ass off, and another guy that took his team to the championship, and I think he doesn't get as much credit because of the roster. I mean, if you look at Ohio State's roster, it's pretty much an NFL roster. Every one of those dudes are going to the NFL, and probably a bunch of them after are going to the NFL, like, the next year and the next year after that. They constantly are just producing, blue chip guys that go to the NFL, and they're already, NFL caliber guys right now. So I think that's a big thing. If you look at his wide receivers, that's going to take a little bit of credit away from him. But it didn't take credit away from Jaden Daniels. I don't understand it. Like, Jaden Daniels got all the credit for, being the greatest quarterback in college football. But look at the receivers he had. Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr. Like, come on, man. Lacey, like, that dude had it made over there. But yeah, I don't know why they're not talking about Will Howard. I like Will Howard. I think he showed us a little bit mobility, making plays with his legs, and that's all you ask for in a quarterback in the NFL, right? That's what I've heard from all of Raider Nation for the last 2 years is we just need a quarterback that can make plays with his legs, pick up a first down. Well, man, Howard showed he can do that. At least he showed me. I don't know if it was good enough, for the nation, the critic nation. Fuck it, bring back Matt McGloin. Whoa. You've been a Raider fan for a minute, or not been a Raider fan for a minute? That's wild, bro. You getting crazy. If that's the case, why don't we just go with Aiden O'Connell? Why is everybody still hating on AOC? That man come in. Maybe that's why y'all hating on him. And I knew that shit was gonna happen. They still hating on him because he come in, won us games, knocked us out of the first place. And I said the whole time that looked bad on the organization to let Aiden O'Connell come in when we were on a 10-game losing streak and in the losing streak, because the nation was just gonna hate on the kid for doing his job, coming in and just winning, baby. And now they're like, oh, AOC sucks. We don't have a first round pick. We can't get Shador because Aiden O'Connell. Man, we have a quarterback in the building. Y'all just don't know it yet. Tom Brady has a plan. That plan is to build a franchise from the ground up because of 27 free agents. We are building a franchise from the ground up. Raider Ryan, what's good, my guy? We are starting over from the bottom. And the best way to start over from the bottom is go with a bridge quarterback that's under a rookie contract that you don't have to pay a whole bunch of money until you get your offensive line, until you get your receivers, until you get your running backs, until you hopefully decide to get a damn fullback, and until you build your defense up. And everybody keeps saying we have this defense. No, we had a defense. The moment passed. That opportunity for us to have the top defense in the NFL and be a top 10 defense is slipping and gone out the window, bro. Unless we spend every dime we have on our salary cap to bring guys back that haven't proven they can do shit in the NFL or on this team that haven't taken us anywhere, man, it's a big. You mean Santa Clara? What? What else we got? Let me catch back up. Reunite Russ with Pete together. Maybe LaFleur calling plays. See, that's the thing. Just Raider baby. Y'all know if you follow this channel, I've been the Mike LaFleur advocate. Like, I'm probably the one that got the names out there, and people are like, dude, we got to look at this shit. But when you look at his record, look at the playoffs. That's all great, but it's a lateral move. He's an offensive coordinator. He's an offensive coordinator for somewhere else. So unless you bring him over as head coach, which you can't do that if you're making Pete Carroll the head coach. It's not going to work. But like I said, Mike, Sean McVay has been very, very good at letting his guys go, take offensive coordinator jobs, even though it's a lateral move, because they get to call plays. And if you can bring a Mike LaFleur in under a Pete Carroll and let him be his protege, for 2, 3 years, that dude would be nasty good. He would be better than his brother, who is doing a damn good job at Green Bay. I mean, look, Matt LaFleur got Green Bay to the playoffs like that, right? He went and signed Josh Jacobs. Like, they went and made moves. They got a defensive coordinator. They got the defense playing good. Michael LaFleur is a genius, bro. And for what he's done, he doesn't get credit at the Rams. But if you go back and look at the Jets offense with Zach Wilson was pretty damn good. They didn't have a defense at the time. They didn't have an O line. That kid was running for his life, but they weren't bad. So he has called plays before. He can call plays, and that would be my number one guy. Like, if you could get Mike LaFleur, and somehow get the Rams to let him make a lateral move and be the guy, that would be the perfect fit. The perfect fit. On the other hand, you have Brendan Carroll. Some of y'all might not know him. If you follow this channel, you've been on my channel before. I've talked about him many times since Pete Carroll's name has come up. He is the son, obviously, of Pete Carroll. He is the Washington Huskies offensive coordinator. And, talks are him bringing his kids in, which I wouldn't be mad at that. You got Pete Carroll, who's a defensive minded guy, his son, who's an offensive minded guy. Hopefully, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And, I think that could be a damn good situation. Hired Todd Monken, signed Justin Fields, draft Genty, and draft Monroe second. I'm not high on Monroe. Like, he's a running quarterback. And if you want to compare numbers, Jackson Dart had 1,500 yards rushing this season, or this season and last season. I think the last 2 years combined, the exact same as Jalen Milroe. Like, their numbers on the ground are almost the same. But when you put it, passing, interceptions, touchdowns to interceptions, it's not even close, bro. Jackson Dart blows that kid out of the water, and it shouldn't happen, right? Because Milroe already has his master's degree, bro. This kid is very intelligent. He has it up here. And for him to have it up there and have, the brain power to already have your master's degree in college when you haven't even graduated, you still got another year of eligibility, is, dude, that's crazy shit. Like, it's hard to get your master's. That's a lot of work. And for to have that before you graduate tells me that he's smart. And to have those smarts and not be able to put it together on the football field and, be able to read defenses and read schemes and shit, like, no, I'm out on that, dude. If you want a running quarterback, that's fine. But like I said, he's going to be another one of those Jalen Hurts where, if Jalen Hurts throws for over 200 yards, Philadelphia loses. Like, if he throws for 120 or 30 yards and, runs for 100 yards, they win. If that's what you want to see in Las Vegas, bro, I mean, that's fine. Go with Milroe. But to me, that I want to see the scoreboard lit up like it was in Detroit, right? I want to see our running backs breaking 80-yard runs. I want to see them catching the ball on the 5-yard line and, making a cut or two and running 95 yards for a damn touchdown. I want to see passes for over 20 yards. Like, I don't want to see the same basic vanilla, no shot, no, Rich Gannon 5-yard dinks, 10-yard dinks, and nothing against Rich Gannon, my favorite quarterbacks of all time. But bro, I want to see excitement, dude. I want excitement here. And yeah, you're gonna have excitement with a running quarterback, in a run game, but bro, that's not excitement to me. I would much rather have Aiden O'Connell stand in the pocket, throw the ball, not run. Just not run. Just not run. Because when that man runs, bro, it's nasty. Hell no, he leaked in 16. What the? What? AOC not pretty enough, right? He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that flashy Joe Burrow two tone hair with the colored tips. Fucking. Uh, AOC got his Bunny Ranch membership revoked. Bro, that dude can't go to the Bunny Ranch. Like, his God would not let that happen. Come on. Jesus and Raiders. Oh, shout out, my guy. Never seen you in here. Appreciate you pulling up. That's a hell of a combination right there. Jesus and Raiders, right? So you love I don't love AOC, bro. Like, why do you get the I'm not even gonna read your comment. Why are you gonna start with I love AOC? Because I see potential in a kid that's done great things in 15, 16 games that he's been in the NFL that no other quarterback has done, but he can't run, right? He can't run. So he's out. Like, I'll read the rest of your comment. But first off, I don't love AOC, bro. I'm not a player. I'm about the shield and the nation. The shield comes first, bro. So if you have a good player in the building, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna talk about him. I'm not stupid. Like, I talk shit about Brian Hoyer and Jimmy G when we drafted them, how sorry they were. Why wouldn't I talk about how good Aiden O'Connell is when he actually plays decent? Like, has he had bad games? Of course. Has Tom Brady had bad games? Yes. Has has Peyton Manning had bad games? I mean, come on, look at his rookie year, bro. 28 interceptions to 26 touchdowns. Aiden O'Connell didn't do nothing like that, bro. Nothing like that. Look at Aiden O'Connell's 15 games compared to every quarterback in the NFL this year, because he hasn't had a whole season to compare it to. And then come talk to me about why do I think AOC is the guy. But I'll read the rest of your comment just to be nice. No, I'm just kidding. So you love AOC. Do you think AOC is that guy? Typically, Raiders fans, we've lost so much. Y'all don't even know what a winning quarterback looks like anymore. What the heck? Let's sign Easton Stick. Now you're just going crazy, bro. You're going crazy. And we've lost so much, y'all don't know what a winning quarterback looks like anymore. I do know what a winning quarterback looks like. It looks like he's wearing number 5 in a red Washington Redskins jersey. Like, shit. I think he's wearing red, white, and blue. Uh, and his name is Josh Allen over there in the snow with the Buffalo Bills. Like, bro, I know what quarterbacks look like. Believe me, I know what quarterbacks look like. I know what a winning quarterback looks like. I know what a winning team looks like. Dude, I'm 49 years old. This shit ain't just tatted on me like for no reason, bro. I followed this team to the death since I've been alive. So I was here for 2 Super Bowls. I was alive. The first one, I was still probably crawling around, but I know what winning looks like. I know what we've been. I know where we can go and what we could get back to. And I know what it takes to get there, bro. I know what it takes to get there. It takes depth. It takes an offensive line to protect your quarterback. It takes a running game, which we don't have. It takes a solid defense with depth pieces, which we don't have. We're about to lose a lot. And no, I would take Aiden O'Connell over Easton Stick any day of the week, bro. Any day of the week. And some people that are on this channel all the time are probably going to get pissed off at me, saying these numbers. But let me ask you a question. If you had a quarterback in the NFL, one quarterback, I'm not going to say his name or who he was or where he was drafted, but if there was a guy in the NFL that was a free agent that had only played, a handful of games and nobody really knew his name, and say the last 6 games he played last year, he just happened to throw, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception in the last 6 games. That is in December, January, crunch time when it counts, right? So let's do math. 9 interceptions, 1 touchdown, 6 games. Man sits on the bench all year, should have been the starting quarterback, gets thrown into the fire again because they went with the wrong guy. In his last 4 games, what does he come in and do? He comes in and wins 2 of those games, also throws 6 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Would you sign this guy to your roster? Now let's do the math. 9-1, 6-2 equals 15 touchdowns to 3 interceptions in 10 games, in your last 10 games. Would you sign this dude to a contract? And what would the contract be that you would give him? Caruso, my guy, what's good? What's good? What do we got? Mike would inherit the team once Pete leaves 3 or 4 years. I mean, yeah, it would be a great scenario. Great scenario. And just look what he's done with that offense over there. Like, you could say it's Sean McVay calls all the plays, but Mike LaFleur helps come up with that offense and create that offense. McVay ain't leaving anytime soon unless he's completely stuck 3 years. Nah, I ain't saying McVay ain't leaving. I'm saying Mike LaFleur. And it would take a lot to get him away. But anyways, so I don't know. I can't get to the bottom. There's too many damn questions. But anyways, that quarterback is Aiden O'Connell. Yes, Aiden O'Connell, who has only played 15 games in the NFL. But if you look at his last 6 games last year, his last 4 games this year, because he only started in 3-4 games this year. So take all those games, put it together. You have a quarterback that has thrown 15 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions and almost 4,000 yards in that amount of time, or in his 16 games he's been in the NFL. Those are CJ Stroud numbers, bro. He just wasn't drafted in the first round. He's just not that flashy guy. He doesn't drive a car. Oh, he talks about Jesus. Maybe that might be it too. Um, hey, so you love ALC, but think Sanders ain't worth it. Typical Raider fan. I'll tell you what. Sign Easton Stick, future Hall of Famer, go Raiders. Yeah, I'll tell you what. How about you just move on to another channel and talk your shit in there, bro? Because your opinion is starting to irritate the shit out of me with your stupid ass Easton Stick. Why don't you go sit on Easton Stick, bro? Fuck out of my chat. Damn. And yes, I'll take AOC over either one of those dudes you keep mentioning. I don't want to see AOC anymore, period. I mean, I don't think you have a choice, bro. The way it's looking right now is they're gonna come in and be that he's gonna be that bridge quarterback, like whether you like it or not. And maybe he might not. Maybe he might be a backup. Maybe they draft a guy and maybe he takes that job. But come on, man. If you watch the way Aiden O'Connell played, there's no way nobody's taking that job right away with the experience, with the way he can read defenses, with the amount of defenses he's seen. You know, the kid went, the kids almost beat the Chiefs again last year, which would have put him at 4-1 and 2-0 against the Chiefs as a rookie. Aiden O'Connell is the last person to beat the last quarterback to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, but he's not good enough to play in the NFL. The man just threw 344 yards with 2 touchdowns the last time they played and lost because of a bad snap. But come on, bro. I don't know why I keep reading this clown. Cal telling you, y'all fans' brains have been fried losing too much. We lost so much. Y'all can't even remember what a winning quarterback looks like. You just saying the same thing over and over again, bro. Damn. Why is everybody in love with the AOC? He's not a good quarterback. Why is he not a good quarterback? Show me where he's not a good quarterback. Show me where he's not a good quarterback, bro. What has he not done? What has he not done? His touchdown to interception ratio is pretty damn good. His completion ratio is pretty damn good with the offensive line with no running game, bro. What is the problem with Aiden O'Connell? Everybody's talk shit about Aiden O'Connell, but tell me what the problem is. Don't come in here talking shit and saying Aiden's not the guy. Aiden's not the guy. Why is he not the guy? Have a reason, bro. Why is he not the guy? I've given you plenty of reasons why he could be a guy, why he could be that dude, but you ain't giving me shit why he's not. You just gonna come in here and run your mouth about Aiden O'Connell. What has Aiden O'Connell done? I just told you what he's done, bro. 15 touchdowns with 3 interceptions in his last 10 games in crunch time in September and January with no running game, with no number one receiver. What do you mean? What has he done? What have you done? Head coach candidates and others than Uncle Pete. Ryan, my guy was good. I don't know. Like basically, they're trying to get Munkin. It seems like Liam Cohen's gone somewhere else. I would bring in Mike LaFleur. I would bring in Mike LaFleur and just be like, man, what do you got? What is your plan? Pick his brain. I would also bring in Joe Brady. Just look what he's done with the fuck will I even say with Josh Allen over there. So I mean, there's guys that are still in the playoffs. And a lot of people are gonna hate this take, but Steve Spagnuolo, bro. I know he's a Kansas City Chief. I hate that more than anything. But you got to look at that man's resume, right? Steve Spagnuolo is going to come in and turn this defense around, whether we lose, all the free agents or we sign all the free agents, and we'll get to that in a minute. I've just been rambling and rambling, but I'll pull this up here in a bit. So I don't even know what the fuck I was saying. I just went off, but uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know who the coaches are going to be, bro. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of coaches I would like to see, get a chance or at least get an interview to talk to them, like a Brady, like a Munkin, and just pick their brain and see what they have. I'd like to see him also interview Mike LaFleur. Like I said, I think it's time. This dude has been in a Sean McVay system for 6 years. I mean, for 1 year, 2 years, what has been 3 years back and forth. He's been in the McVay system, but he's also been in the Kyle Shanahan system, with the 49ers. So he also has that offensive critique. He was there 6 years with the 49ers. Mike LaFleur has been around the NFL for a long, long time. And is he head coaching material? I mean, I don't know. That's why I would love to see him come in as the, OC under a Pete Carroll and, be that predecessor. I think it would be great. Lost me when you said AOC did amazing things. Last my ass off. Okay, move on. Shit, ain't trying to keep you in here, bro. Um, Flacco is better than AOC in his last 16 games. Well, shit, I'll make you a mod, dude. You can come in and pull it up. Show me. I'm from Missouri, bro. The show me state. AOC should get traded to the Pats with Josh McDaniels. I mean, that could happen too. That was good. Appreciate you pulling in the building. You get through all these. We ain't getting anywhere with AOC. You don't know that, bro. You don't know that. You're just throwing accusations out there and assumptions, bro. Like you're coming in the chat talking like everybody else does in the nation, on their little podcast and their bullshit, or coming in chats or posting on Instagram and X. But you don't know that. You don't know what AOC could be, bro. You don't know. They said Jared Goff wasn't going to be shit and never do nothing in the NFL. Like, come on. He goes to another team, got his team in the playoff. They said Matthew Stafford was never going to be that guy, right? White dude, couldn't run, not very mobile, sucked in Detroit for, 10 years, goes to a different team, gets a shot with the right OC and the right quarterback, and goes to the Super Bowl like that, bro. So, your opinions are great. Appreciate them. But I'll take Dalton right now over AOC. Okay. That's crazy, bro. That's wild. Uh, bro, old ass Flacco outplayed AOC in two different teams, shaking my head. Joe Flacco also had a running game in those two different teams, and he's also a veteran that they let throw the ball. They didn't let AOC throw the ball until basically the only time he threw the ball for more than 40 times a game was in the last two games of the season. Joe Flacco threw the ball over 40 times every single game he played in, and he had a running game to pass it up where they have a play action. Even with his old ass, you can run read options. Like, yeah. We get Pete Carroll. That means the Raiders panicked. Why do you say that? Elaborate. How many did we win? I don't know. No, he just sucks as a quarterback. I thought he played pretty damn good. Carlos was good. Appreciate you pulling up. Corey, appreciate you pulling up. I'll get you all in a minute. I'm way behind. Um, Bro, they just fired the GM. Who? Oh, hired the GM. I was like, fired? What? Yeah, Spytek in the building. AOC is a lot better than people realize. Thank you, my guy. Yeah, AOC is way better than people realize. I think it's hilarious that you have all these quarterbacks that ex quarterbacks, that do film breakdown now and talk about shit. You see the announcers um, when they call their games and they're like, man, Aiden O'Connell makes throws that most guys couldn't make. That's a throw that only veterans make. That's a leading receiver like that is a throw that only veterans can make. Dude, I should have recorded. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make a video because I think I got most of these games still on tape somewhere. And I think that's what I'm gonna do for the next 3 days. I'm gonna go back and find every commentator, ex football player, ex thing talking about how great of a quarterback AOC is and can be. Because it was wild how many guys were like, "Oh, AOC is the shit, bro. This guy, if they would only have faith in him, if they would only make him the guy." But I'm not saying he's a franchise quarterback, and I'm not saying he's going to take nobody to the Super Bowl or win Super Bowls. But I'm not saying he's not either because we don't know. You don't want the best for the Raiders, LOL. You want AOC. Fuck about AOC, bro. If they don't play that dude, I don't care. I could care less. AOC isn't, bro. You need a reality check. I might need a reality check, but again, y'all don't know that he's not the guy. Y'all are just assuming. You can come in like everybody else and assume he's not the guy. You can assume like all these dudes that said last year that we had the worst quarterback in the room because we had Garner Minshew starting over Aiden O'Connell. Like, and then Aiden O'Connell comes in and we start winning games, bro. We have chance. We have life. Like, um, there was no one quarterback in this year's. I can't even see that shit. That sun is right in my face, bro. There's no quarterback in this year's draft. Only 1 and 2 are even available in the last drafts. Couldn't even be. Well, couldn't even win an Arrowhead. Right? I feel you, bro. I feel you 100%. 100%. And go back, like I said, go do your homework. Don't make me do the homework for you, but I will if I have to. I will break down a list of all these top quarterbacks that y'all think are the shit and so much better than Aiden O'Connell. And we can do a comparison and break down the numbers, bro, because they are not much off at all. Because look what that kid did with Bo Hardegree, bro. A guy that has never called plays in the NFL ever, never even picked up a playbook, bro. Come in and had AOC balling. Yeah, I said balling. 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. Come on, in your last 6 games as a rookie, who's done that? What has he done? Who? Show me somebody that's done that. Find somebody. Break down your stats. Ask Google or Chat GPT or whatever, and pull it up in here. My emails on my shit. My Instagram's on my shit. Raiders Rebel at Instagram is at Raiders Rebel. X is Raiders Rebel _ Anything you can find comparing AOC, send it to me. My email is RaidersRebel75 at Gmail. RaidersRebel75 at Gmail. So find up all your comparisons, pull up all your shit, and show me that AOC sucks, right? So, like I said, don't talk about it, be about it. Come with facts. Send all that shit to any one of those, and I will pull it up on my next live. He lacks mobility. Oh, there it is. There it is. He can't run. Oh my God, he's a pocket. He's a statue. He lacks mobility. He's only beaten the Chiefs one time and cannot beat any other team than that. That's why. I believe AOC put up 1, 2, 3, 4 touchdowns. 4 on the Chargers, bro. 63 points we dropped on them. What are you talking about? He can't beat nobody else. Come on, man. He was 3-1 in the division as a rookie. Not a first round rookie, a fourth round pick, bro, fourth round pick, who was holding the clipboard all through preseason, all through OTAs, and then still comes in thrown into a fire, not even being the second guy, not getting no reps against the Chargers, sacked 7 times, down 14 points, and still comes back with 2 minutes left, drives us, has us on the 10-yard line with a chance to win. And yes, he threw an interception. Oh my God. He sucks. It's the end of the world. Come on. The kid is a rookie, bro. In his first game ever, down 14 points, drove us back with a chance to win. And y'all say Aiden O'Connell sucks. Y'all need to put down the pipe, bro. That's all I'm saying. Put down the pipe. His stats. Look at his stats, bro. Bring up his stats. Bring up his stats and compare him to CJ Stroud. Bring up his stats and compare him to the number one pick, Bryce Young, that year, bro. Bring him up. Bring him up. Bring him up and compare him to Will Levis. Matter of fact, bring him up and compare him to this year's rookies. I would love to see it. Like I said, send it to me. Send it to me anytime. This light is killing me, dude. I sat in the worst spot today. Holy shit. I can't read nothing. This is horrible. Fuck my life. TB12 is making the final decision in the hiring Spytek and the personnel friend and now GM. Dion is also his personal friend and hopefully the next head coach. Oh my gosh, George Sanders trade. Are y'all Raider fans really? How long you been a Raider fan? God and family? And who's the other dude? Like how long? I don't know how long y'all been fans because do y'all just jump on like whatever bandwagon you hear? Ernie Gaza, what's good? Or you just following what other people say? Like, are you just sheep? Like, do you have is Sanders going to be that guy? You have facts that he's worth moving up. Like I said, when we already had him in our grasp at the number one pick, like I don't understand you guys, bro. I don't understand the logic and the thinking. All right, let me read all these chats and then I'm gonna pull up one thing and I gotta get the hell off here. Bro going offense stats, another Carr debater. Bro, I'm not even gonna go there with Derek Carr, bro. The Derek Carr that holds every record for quarterbacks, every quarterback record in this organization. Fuck out of here, dude. I know Carr sucked too, right? Because we had a top 10 defense every year he was here. Michael Floor. Michael Floor is the shit, bro. I've been saying that on this channel for months. I'm almost caught up. I'm glad Tom Brady is here. I don't think he's rocking with AOC. All right. Again, just another assumption. How do you know Tom Brady hasn't been secretly working out with AOC? How do you know he hasn't been in the park throwing balls on his spare time with Aiden O'Connell? How do you know he's not watching film on Aiden O'Connell and saying, damn, I know exactly what I need to do to make this kid better? I mean, Tom Brady is Aiden O'Connell's idol, right? That is the guy he grew up watching, idolizing, wants to be, and you have him as your owner? Come on. The kid has an arm. He can read defenses. He can lead receivers, throw receivers open. He puts his receivers in the best position at the line of scrimmage. They have never, ever once given him any, control to change plays at the line of scrimmage or any of that shit. And if they did, dude would be a way better quarterback. He's had to go up to the line and run every play they've given him from Luke Getsy, bro. I'm done talking to you. I'm done talking to you. You want this kid to listen to Luke Getsy and run every play he calls without the ability to change the play at the line of scrimmage when the defense is reading what you're doing? Come on, man. Y'all high, bro. The facts are you're truly upset. Everyone should be blind. As what? Ask and see the AOC success quarterback. This channel likes AOC in your ass. Fucking move on, bro. Your mom's ass. Monk and I feel Pete Carroll. What? Gonna get hired and already have. Yeah, I think that it's it too. But like I said, he was the only guy that's interviewed in person interview, and he's at the top of their list. And I'm sure that they're gonna do their due diligence and interview everybody they can. And like I said, they are waiting on Steve Spagnuolo to come in and get that interview. And I got cut off talking about that, but you know, Spags would be a great head coach for this organization. And I'm gonna give you four reasons. Number one, they dominate the Chargers. Number two, they dominate us. Number three, they dominate the Lightning Bolts. They've won this division for I don't know how many years by a landslide. It hasn't. This is the closest year it's been in the division. Um, the man would have this defense firing on all cylinders and probably be like the Kansas City Chiefs. Could you imagine Steve Spagnuolo with weapons like, oh my goodness, bro, with weapons like Max Crosby, Malcolm Coons, Trayvon Morrig? Like, come on, dude. We have, in my opinion, way better athletes and stars on our defense than they have on the Kansas City Chiefs. They just have a way better staff and coordinator. So, don't dismiss the fact that Tom Brady knows a lot about Steve Spagnuolo and Pete Carroll. That's why I think these guys are tops on the list. He wants experience like Belichick. Belichick was that older guy, right? When Brady got there, Belichick was an older head coach that has been his head coach, most of his career in the NFL, was a guy that was up there in age. So I think that's what Brady's looking for, in my opinion. He wants that guy that has experience, that can turn a team around, that knows how to build a culture, how to build a winning culture, that knows what it looks like to win, right? That can show guys, what it means to win. I gotta shut this fucking window. Hold on. Golly, dude. Over here ducking and diving like I'm AOC trying to run from pressure and shit. What truly. Whatever, bro. You don't have to move on, dude. I have my opinion, you have yours. Um, no, does he know the LLC showed that what you mean? What? What the fuck? 11-inch Raider. That's a classic ass name, bro. I just seen that shit. Oh, fuck. That's funny as hell. No, he does know that AOC showed that, though. Get Kingsbury. Like I said, Kingsbury's not leaving that spot, bro. He's not leaving that spot. Raiders are waiting for this weekend. Joe Brady, Kingsbury, Spags, Kellen Moore. I think Pete Carroll is the plan. You agree or disagree? I agree 100%, Arnie. I think that's what they're waiting for. They want to talk to Steve Spagnuolo. I don't think. Who else did you say in there? Oh, I don't think Kellen Moore is in that mix at all. I don't think that's the name that they're worried about. Um, you know, I think they're going to try to make a call for Kingsbury. I think they're going to, put in that call. I don't know. I don't think they do. I mean, I think they might try to put in that call, but I think they're going to look foolish if they do, bro. Kingsbury would be would be so stupid. They you just make this organization look bad, and we do that on our own. The upper management in this organization is constantly making this organization and themselves look bad. They don't need any help. So, you know, to even pick up the phone and call Kingsbury, I think would just be a bad idea. I mean, he's going to be a damn good coach and he's a great offensive coordinator and he might fit in that category, with a Dick Daniels. That some guys are meant to be offensive coordinators and just don't know how to talk to people, and you need that head coach, to be that bumper in between to communicate with guys. So that's just my opinion. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I got that. I bet you want Gruden as our coach again. I bet no. I bet no, bro. I didn't want Gruden the second time. No. So again, with your accusations and shit, bro, you don't know me, bro. Watch my channel a little bit more, or go back and watch some of my videos, and then you'll get to know a little bit more about Raiders Rebel. But bro, nah. Gruden, you got me fucked up there, my guy. Um, Now I know this won't happen, but what if you give Mike McCarthy a chance? I mean, he's the offensive minded dude. They had a pretty good offense over there in Dallas, but I don't know. To me, that's if they do, they do. Mike McCarthy's just not on my list, not on mine. There's a chance ALC can get developed. We can. Oh, we just need the right staff behind him. Similar to Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield having success in the later careers. Well, Baker Mayfield is a lot, a lot more athletic than AOC. Sam Darnold, probably about the same. And yeah, it took Sam Darnold, 7 years before he got into a system, you know, with a quarterback coach like a Josh McCown that's been a quarterback in the NFL that's, seen the ups and the downs. And a lot of people are saying is going to be a head coach, very, very soon, if not an offensive coordinator first. And yeah, I think the kid needs time, bro. Like Aiden O'Connell didn't get to play under Josh McDaniels, but one game for the Chargers. The rest of the games he played were under Antonio Pierce with a makeshift staff, with a Bo Hardegree calling the plays, which I thought made Aiden O'Connell look good. After the third or fourth game, I think Bo Hardegree kind of got in a groove. Him and Aiden O'Connell in that offense, they started swinging for the fences, and you know having Jacoby Myers, throw touchdowns out of the backfield, and they were running all kinds of trick plays. It livened up that offense. I thought they did a damn good job, and I think Aiden O'Connell needs time. You can say he's not going to be Tom Brady. You could say he's not going to be Peyton Manning. You could say he's not going to be this. You're right. He's not going to be none of those. He's going to be Aiden O'Connell. But can he be close to those guys? I think he can in the right system with the right pieces around him. He showed as a rookie, I said it over and over again, as a rookie, you know, some amazing ass passes to Devontae Adams. Devontae made some crazy ass catches, but he made some great passes, and he's overthrown Trey Tucker. I don't know how many times to overthrow a guy like Trey Tucker that runs a 4.340, like 4.240, whatever he runs, is crazy for people to say he don't have an arm. But dude, I'm done talking about AOC. Let's move on from that. We all know where I stand on that shit. What makes a franchise quarterbacks is wins and losses. The stats are individual. Yeah, wins or losses is definitely it. 100%. But when you're throwing for 300 yards a game, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and you lose, bro, like you can't put that on a quarterback. You got to look at his stats. Like if you're on a shit team, that doesn't know how to win, that hasn't figured out, how to win and how to win consistently, you're not going to have a good win-loss record. So you can go back and look at a lot of, quarterbacks that their win-loss record for their career is horrible because they started out horrible, like a Sam Darnold. It's going to take a long time for his win-loss record to catch back up, no matter how good that man plays. Make sure when the stats are brought up, the fact during the comment context matters. What? Don't only mention the shit that fits your personality narratives. Preach, preach, preach. Why ask the question if you know the answer already, Rebel? I don't know. I'm so far behind on what they're talking about, but who knows? Raider fan since 2002. I was 6 years old. Nice. Hell yeah. Sanders was the most sacked quarterback. Not sure if he would be a good fit. Bro, people are blind, bro. People are blind. He's in the limelight. He's everywhere you see. Subliminal messages. Why do people not get this fact? If you do not watch tape, if you do not watch the All 22, if you do not know how to do film breakdown, if you do not know how to break down a player on film and watch the tape, if you do not know how to watch his footwork, if you do not know how to watch his throwing arm, if you do not watch how to watch his mechanics, his motions, if it's a running back, if you don't know how to watch his cuts or his footwork or his vision or any of that shit, bro, like, then you're just a sheep. You're just going with what you see, and what you see everywhere is Shador Sanders. That's the talk of the town. Everybody says that's the only quarterback. Him and Cam Ward, they're the only quarterbacks in this draft. I call a bullshit. 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 They are not the only quarterbacks in this draft. They are the most talked about quarterbacks in this draft. Like dude says, Shador is sacked, the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. Y'all's talking about him being mobile and how Aiden O'Connell is a statue. Well, Aiden O'Connell was sacked less in college than Shador Sanders. Wait, no, he wasn't. That was a lie. But it's pretty damn close. Um, Pete did groom Russ to win a Super Bowl, so why can't he do that with AOC? Well, I think his system kind of called for a little bit more mobile quarterback than Bambi on ice. Like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Aiden O'Connell scares the shit out of me when he runs. He looks like a, y'all ever seen a walking stick? I don't know what state y'all are from, but it's a bug. It looks like a stick with legs. Yeah, that's kind of what he looks like when he runs to me. Like, it just scares the shit out of me. He's not athletic. He does not have an athletic bone in his body. But Tom Brady's not very athletic either. Like, either was Peyton Manning, either was Eli Manning. There's many quarterbacks that didn't have an athletic bone in their body, but they could throw a damn football, right? And they could read defenses. So his athleticism. I put this up so everybody else can read on the fly. His athleticism, mobility was the deciding characteristics for the quarterback. Richardson, Williams, and the athletic quarterback opinions sitting on the benches throughout the league would be winning and start. Yeah, we broke this down too, bro. Just look at the statistics, right? You want to say numbers don't lie, the facts don't lie. Somebody said in the comment, stats don't lie, right? Numbers don't lie. Yeah, look at the numbers. How many mobile quarterbacks win Super Bowls? And don't say Patrick Mahomes, dude, because he is not a mobile quarterback. He is a crafty quarterback that is very slow, that knows when to run, how to run, and to take advantage of a wide open field. Mobile quarterbacks very seldomly win Super Bowls. Like, look at Lamar Jackson, bro. The best, probably, quarterback in the NFL right now, dual threat, can run, can make passes, can throw the ball a mile. Where's he at right now? Where's he at right now? He is fishing, bro. He is fishing, gone fishing. He's not playing. So it doesn't matter if you're mobile, if you're athletic. What matters is a team sport. There is no I in team. Build a team around Aiden O'Connell. Like, then tell me he's not a quarterback. Until that, bro, I'm done talking and saying he's not the guy. I'm not saying he ever will be the guy or could be. I'm just saying give the man an opportunity. And when he's got opportunities, he's shown shit. He don't blink, right? Banned for 30 years. Okay. Shador play speaks for itself, in my opinion, of him based off his years play at Colorado. Dion coded great at Jackson State and turned Colorado around. Opinion based off of facts. Yes, they turned that organization around. They also turned Colorado around. Were what, 1-9, whatever the hell, 1-10. The next year, a little better. Next year, a little better. Yes, that's all facts. But you also have to realize he had probably the top 3 wide receiver in the NFL, and excuse me, and Travis Hunter. He threw to Travis Hunter 92 times last year, bro. 30 more times than any receiver on his squad. So, a lot of his numbers could probably be calculated to how good Travis Hunter is. And Shador, again, like the games that they lost against the teams they lost against when he was under pressure was ugly, bro. Just absolutely ugly. Ugly. Um Carroll is the plan A at the moment. I ain't mad at it. Billy D, what's good? What's good? Loyal to the soil. Great examples of AOC was that quarterback. Why didn't the team go after him like they did Carr? AOC isn't a quarterback. Once his cage gets rattled, he folds under pressure. What are you talking about, bro? Where do you see that? Where do you see that, my guy? I've seen Aiden O'Connell, like I said, get sacked 6 times the very first game he played in and led us back to win that game. We could have won that game. We were in a position to win that game. We were at the 10-yard line, about ready to take the lead. He made a mistake. He didn't see the safety coming. He was watching this guy. He was looking left, and he tried to go real quick, and it cost him. He's done it a couple times. He's not very good at looking off guys and trying to look over real quick. He needs to see where the guy's at, and he didn't see the safety, and it cost us the game. But for to say the man gets rattled, bro, and folds like a lawn chair, I gotta say you're high, bro. And whatever you're smoking, send me some, bro, because if it's trees, I want some of that. Because my man does not get rattled, dude. That dude does not have a rattle bone in his body. Like, what are you talking about? Every game, he was poised as hell, doesn't blink. He got hurt, came back in, broke his thumb. They said 6 weeks. He was back in 4. Like, I don't know what you guys want, bro. I don't know what y'all want. Thank you, Sir Daniel. Is the only one they seem to talk about. Yeah, that's it. I guarantee you, if Shador Sanders was not named Sanders and he was not Deion Sanders' son, and he was not on TV constantly, and he was not constantly on X and constantly not on Instagram, you know, flashing his little shit and doing his little videos and doing his mainstreams and going to New York to throw with Malik Neighbors in the middle of a snowstorm. Fucking come on, dude. He knows how to stay relevant. His daddy is named Prime Time, bro. Prime Time Deion Sanders. He didn't get that name for no reason. Prime Time. He knows how to be relevant. He knows how to be in the limelight, and he knows how to be where he is talked about. And he made sure his son would be talked about. Yes, he had a damn good year. You can look at his interceptions to touchdown ratio. It was pretty good. You can look at his, numbers. They were okay. But you can also look at a bunch of quarterbacks, like Will Howard, like Dylan Gabriel, like guys that aren't being talked about that had just as good as years that aren't getting near the hype Shador is because they know how to promote themselves. Now, if I guarantee you, if Riley Leonard was flashy or, Jackson Dart was flashy like them and they wanted to promote themselves and be on X and, be all over everywhere, going to games with more people want Shador. It has nothing to do with his football playing. It has nothing to do with his game, bro. It has the fact that he's what you see. It's subliminal. That's what they're putting in your head. That's all they're talking about. And we will see in a couple days in the Senior Bowl, the Shrine Bowl, in the Combine, who the better man is, who the better quarterback is. And if it's him, I'll say I was wrong. I'm not saying he's a shitty quarterback. I'm just saying Shador is not worth moving up for. Like, that's the bottom line. Whether you like it, dislike it, is he going to be a good quarterback? That remains to be seen. Can he be a guy in the NFL? I don't know. He can also be a guy that's sitting over there, that was one of those high draft picks that everybody was talking about in Dallas that's been traded, 3 times, Trey Lance. Come on, man. Y'all don't know. It's the NFL. Nobody knows. And what a guy is going to be if he gets put in a shitty team. He's never been in a shit situation. Yes, they had a bad year his first year, but other than that, come on, bro. You've had your daddy coaching you. You're the starter. You have no pressure to not be the starter. You're getting the job no matter what. Like, he hasn't had to compete against anybody. Wait till you get in the NFL and you have to compete for a job. What's that going to look like if your daddy's not saying, the job's yours? I don't know. Do you know? If you do, let me know because I don't know. I don't know what Shador is going to look like. And for that, only being coached by his dad in college, never had anybody else, pretty much yelling at him or telling him what to do or being in his face. I don't know. That's not worth moving up for me. That's not. I'm not taking that chance, bro. I'm not. Do you like Shador because of his name or because of his talent? Oh, somebody else just said that. Um, if we don't get Shador, I like Dylan Gabriel. Pete Carroll is a AC. Now I let me read the rest of this. He developed Russell Wilson, who was very similar in stature and Gabriel. My other quarterback I like is Curtis Rourke. Um, is Curtis Rourke staying in college? I do believe. I think he's staying in school, and I like Curtis Rourke. I also like that kid in Penn State, Drew Aller, and I think if either one of those quarterbacks came out, you know, after the combine, they'd be talked about a lot more. Um, but yeah, Rourke's going to be a damn good guy next year, and Drew Aller from what he is, with no main number one receiver, like that dude is special too, very very special. Lamar didn't lose, huh? Huh. It was the team that failed him. So so Lamar, wait, let me get this right, bro. Let me get this right, because we on the internet, man. I wish I could pull you up on my channel, bro. Like I'm not trying to put you on blast, but you're gonna sit here in my chat and say Lamar is not the reason they lost. It was the team. When Travis Henry ran all over, but Lamar had one interception, one fumble that gave them very, very good field position. I do believe. So you're going to sit here and say it wasn't Lamar's fault, who had an interception and a touchdown. I mean, fucking touchdown, interception and a fumble. It wasn't Lamar's fault they lost, but it's Aiden O'Connell's fault every time the Raiders lose with no running game, with shitty coaches. Explain yourself to me, bro. Dude, fucking people, man. I swear to God. These fucking clowns, bro. Dart or Milrow. I'm not sold on Milrow. I'm telling you, bro. Riley Leonard. Write it down. Take that shit to the bank. Riley Leonard, dude. Riley Leonard is going to be one of the top quarterbacks in this draft class. He might not be drafted the highest, but he will have the best production in the NFL if he gets a chance to play. That's if he goes to a team that needs him and he gets a chance to play, dude. Riley Leonard helped carry Notre Dame on his back in the championship game and almost brought him back to win that game, bro. The kid, like I said again, is 6'4", runs a 4.5 40. He is Josh Allen 2.0 all over him. Like, I don't know quarterbacks, but I'm telling you, Riley Leonard, dude. Riley flipping Leonard. Uh Lost some ugly games, but we were able to do with that shit O line. How was it a shit O line? So again, the mobile quarterback in Shador Sanders, right? That dual threat guy can't make plays with his legs and takes more sacks than anybody in college, and it's on his offensive line. But I thought you were a mobile quarterback. Weren't you supposed to be able to run and, wiggle your way through those, make plays? That's what winning quarterbacks do, right? That's what franchise quarterbacks do. They make do with what they have. Aiden O'Connell had three rookies, three rookies on his offensive line, bro. Three rookies. Still played his ass off. Still had 340 yards with two touchdowns against the best defense in the NFL and the Kansas City Chiefs, and you still say shit like you're saying? Like, come on, bro. Fucking trash. Ah, AOC don't get rattled. No, he doesn't, bro. The dude stands in the pocket and drops dimes. These people are high, bro. Stop drinking, during the game, bro. That's all I can say. Stop drinking, bro. One time, do not get drunk and watch a whole entire football game. Or if you're sober right now, go watch some film on AOC, bro. Because when you're drunk or impaired on some whatever other shit, people see crazy things, bro. I'm just saying. I'm not saying you're drunk or a drug addict, but come on, man. Thomas Valentine of Pro Football Focus recently released his list of most improved players of the second half. Valentine selected Raiders quarterback Aiden O'Connell as one of the most improved. There you have it. There you have it. I don't know who Thomas Valentine is, but shout out to Thomas Valentine. Um, AOC's confidence was growing last year. I saw it. Bro, it was growing last year. He had the confidence as a rookie. As a rookie, 4th round pick. That kid has here and here and here. That's what it takes to be a quarterback in the NFL, bro. Look at Tom Brady. Not the most athletic, not the most mobile, not the best build in the NFL. Looks like a Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's more in shape now than he was, but dude had a gut, you know, come on. No muscle to him, but goes down to be the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL. Why did Tom Brady do that? For one, he had heart. He had heart. Aiden O'Connell has a big ass heart, bro. That shit is like this. That dude, to me, has a huge heart. And he has intelligence. Intelligence to be in your playbook, to know what the defense is doing, to study your opponent. AOC can do that. He can break down film. He knows what guys are gonna do. Dude. He showed all year long. I don't know what people are looking at. How you can watch this kid and say he's trash. He's not it, bro. The man just said most improved. Which, come on, his numbers don't lie. They're almost CJ Stroud numbers. CJ Stroud was drafted number 2? Took his team to the playoffs as a rookie. Took his team to the playoffs again this year. His numbers are up there, the same. The only reason he didn't get picked in the 1st round is because he waited another year and that hurt him. He waited another year on a Purdue team that lost too many and was not a very good team. If he would have came out the year before, there are lots of reports that he would have been a 1st-round quarterback. I don't know how true that is. That's just reports, like I said. Don't want Cam Ward, do not want Shador, and been a fan since 1978 from Oakland. Salute loyal to the soil. Appreciate you pulling up and rocking with this channel. Hey, y'all, do me a favor, like, subscribe, and if you haven't already, tickle that notification button to turn it on. Let you be notified when I go live or drop videos or whatever. I always forget to say that in my lives. What was I saying? Oh yeah, don't want Cam Ward or Shador. Been a fan since 1978 from Oakland, my guy. Yes, AOC is a backup quarterback. Where'd I fuck it go? QB, if he was that good in the quarterback, why did Ben Johnson come? Because he's not a legit quarterback. Okay, well, I mean, that's a good take, and I don't think it was Aiden O'Connell that was the deciding factor. I think it was Spytek coming in and having more say than Ben Johnson, and I think that was the writing on the wall. You know, that was the guy they were trying to go with, and Ben Johnson, and reports are Ben Johnson's wife did not want to raise her kids in Las Vegas, which I don't know how Chicago, like to that crime rate in Chicago got to be, way worse than the crime rate in Las Vegas. So I don't know how that factors in, but those are reports is, they wanted to stay where they were. And, he said that was his team, bro. He wanted to play, he wanted to coach Chicago. That was the team he had in mind all along. And basically he just took the job to, satisfy his agent to see what the Raiders could offer him. And that was it pretty much. It was never, we were never number one on the list. He just took the interview. So I don't think it had to do with Aiden O'Connell. And I mean, come on, bro. I'm not stupid. If I had a chance to take Aiden O'Connell or Caleb Williams Williams, O'Connell, fucking dude, come on. I like the kid. He has potential. Is he Caleb Williams? No, absolutely not. That kid could be very, very magical. So no, I don't blame Ben Johnson whatsoever for going and taking, you don't have to move across country. You're in the same division which he wanted to be in. He said he likes beating Matt LaFleur twice a year, fucking, which I don't think that's going to happen anymore because after that's been said, I think his days of beating Matt LaFleur might be one and done. But yeah, I don't think, and AOC, you can listen to other commentators that say AOC will be nothing but a backup his career. He's already proved them wrong because he had to start again this year. So that's out the window. He's already been more than a backup. And, he could be a backup. Hey, he's a damn good bridge backup. If you can have a guy like Aiden O'Connell who can step in off the bench and play like he has, I mean, who could be mad at it, right? I'm not mad at it. If whoever we bring in beats him out, more power to it. If it means winning, fuck, I don't care, dude. I don't care if he's third string, fourth string, or if they cut Aiden O'Connell, which would be stupid because he's on a rookie contract. I mean, if you could trade him and get something for him, cool. But bro, bring in whoever gives us the best chance to win. But if you look at the quarterbacks in these drafts, Riley Leonard's going to have to sit for a year. Jackson Dart's going to have to sit for a year. Jalen Milroe's going to have to sit for 3 years. Why am I saying Jalen Milroe has to sit for 3 years? Look at the number of snaps Jalen Milroe has had that everybody keeps saying draft Jalen Milroe. Dude, he's only played 2 seasons. The other 2 seasons he sat behind spit it out, bro. He sat behind Bryce Young. Say that fucking 3 times fast. So he doesn't have the amount of snaps that these guys coming out like a Kyle McCord, like a Dylan Gabriel, even like a Riley Leonard, like Milroe don't have those snaps. So he's going to be a long, long time project. And if if you take a Milroe, then Aiden's going to be a guy for at least 2 years because that kid's going to just he doesn't read defenses good, bro. He doesn't see the field good enough. It's going to take time and a lot of work for that kid. Bro, you're crazy. Sander was great pocket presence, great under pressure, and had a horrible O line. Still made all the throws. AOC is a McDaniels guy. McDaniels didn't even. That's your problem, bro. It's a McDaniels guy, and he's not mobile, dude. I'm not reading your comments no more. I appreciate your shit, but bro, um, his wife just got to let him come to Vegas. That's the real reason. Don't kid yourself. What? I'm sure his wife would let him come wherever, but he wanted the Chicago job, man. He said that's where he wanted to be. That was the job he had his eye on. Did you not see his press conference? He told everybody in his PR room, his agents, and everybody, this is the job I want. It's the job I want. Vegas was just a way for him to make sure he got the money he wanted and the job he wanted, in my opinion. It was never even a look, bro. It was never even a thought. Sean Payton wanted AOC as well. Exactly, bro. Sean Payton wanted AOC too. There was a couple of people that wanted AOC. Um, don't matter what quarterback we take, we won't be good without an O line and a running game. And that's 1,000% facts. That's why I said Aiden O'Connell should be the quarterback going into next year, whether we draft a quarterback or not. Let him sit for a year. Let him learn the system. Let us build the offensive line. Let us get a running game. Let us get the receivers. Let's build the offense and give whoever the quarterback is a chance to succeed because we haven't done that in years. We didn't do it with Derek Carr. We haven't done it with, I mean, how could you do it with Jimmy Garoppolo? But okay. And we haven't done it with AOC. We had a chance last year and failed. We ended the season again 3-1 in the division, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception, um, like 600 and something yards with camaraderie, with receivers and a quarterback that went out all off season and threw in the park together to try to build a chemistry and a timing and a camaraderie. And then the season starts and they go Gardner Minshew. So, it was just dumb, bro. AOC would have been way better, bro. AOC loves Tom Brady. He models himself after exactly. And he's dude. He's you see how he played, bro. The dude went crazy when he got to play again with Tom Brady in the building. If you can get Tom Brady to work with him just a little bit in the offseason here and there, come on. You're not going to make that kid mobile, but you have a damn good bridge quarterback for however many years you need to build your franchise. Tony Chef in the building. Appreciate you, my guy. I'm not blasting AOC. He was good, but not great in the AFC West. We need to be great to compete. I don't think we need to be great to compete. I don't think you need to be great to compete. Like, we beat them, right? Last year, we beat the Chiefs, where Aiden O'Connell threw for 66 fucking yards, bro. 66 yards, bro. He didn't throw or complete a pass in the second half of the football game. We still won. We still beat the Super Bowl champions. We were the last team to beat the last quarterback to beat them until, a couple games this year. But I'm telling you, we're the last team in the AFC West to beat Kansas City. Aiden O'Connell did it with, not Aiden O'Connell, but the Raiders did it with a rookie quarterback and a run game and a solid defense. So I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. But yeah, I agree. And everybody thinks I'm boasting that, Aiden O'Connell, I'm in love with Aiden O'Connell. I just want us to have the best opportunity to win. And to me, the best opportunity to win is having a guy that's already, knows the receivers, knows Brock Bowers, has timing with him. Why go in and bring in, a free agent like my man said in Ryan Tannehill, like, or some stupid shit? Come on, man. Now, if you're bringing in a Justin Fields or, a Russell Wilson, I'm not mad at that. Let them compete. You know who's going to win. They're both way more mobile. Got to go get work done. Appreciate you. Have a good one. Thanks for pulling up. Much love. We need stability. 100,000%. Right? Nobody gets the AOC hate, bro. It's just wild. It's because people are sheep. I said it again, and I'll say it, and I'll keep saying it. Sheep follow. Sheep follow. You go with whatever everybody says, what the hot topic, and that's cool. Jump on it. Me, I go the other way. When everybody started talking about, Pete Carroll being the guy, I went away from it. When Ben Johnson got an interview, I went away from it. Like, I'm not trying to talk about what everybody else is talking about. AOC stayed in Vegas and trained all off season. Yeah, and had chemistry. The man is willing to work at his craft to be the best. Like, you can't knock a kid for that, bro. Yeah, he didn't even go back home with his family. Like, come on, man. His first time, away from his family and shit. He said he usually goes back home in the off seasons in college. He didn't even go back home. They stayed in Vegas. Like, they love where they're at. I mean, come on. I'm more to try to win over the nation, bro. Like, and he ain't even trying. He don't give a shit. He don't care if you like him or not. What he cares about is football. And that's what I care about, winning football. I mean, damn, we could have way worse guys that don't want to compete, that just want to sit on the bench and collect a paycheck. I'm not saying names, but um, bro, Brady era was the most pocket QB. What are you talking about now? Days mobile quarterbacks, Lamar teammates lost the game as well. Drop passes downfield. Yeah, I'm, all right. It's a team sport. That's what I've been saying this whole live, bro. You say Aiden O'Connell sucks and we can't win games with Aiden O'Connell. Put him on the Ravens. Put him on the Kansas City Chiefs. Put him on the Rams. Like, put him in a stable organization, bro, and then tell me he can't win games. We don't know if he can. We don't have no stability. We have no depth. We have no line. You see it down, set, hike. There's 5 people in his face. He's not mobile. He can't get away from it. But if you give him time, it's a totally different scenario, which we haven't given him time all at once at all. That kid is running for his life. An unmobile quarterback running for his life does not lead to victories in the NFL. I'm just saying. Uh, shit. All right. Oh my god. I'm not reading all these. True podcast was good. Was good. Appreciate you pulling up. God and Family Raiders. That's just an individual opinion. Provide us with a fact, not feelings, right? True, I got fired from my job on Tuesday. I'm back looking for another one. Damn, Billy D, you got fired again? What the fuck happened? That's crazy, Billy. Hey, everything happens for a reason, my guy. Keep your head up, keep grinding. You'll find your spot you fit in for sure. But all right. So 2 hours later, because this damn chat, the title of this video was Johnny Spytek, right? Taking on a nightmare roster. And why am I saying a nightmare roster? Well, the reason. So, hold up. Let me get to this somewhere. I don't know where. All right. Matt Holder, lifelong Raider fan, brought this comment up or brought this shit up. So, my man says, let me get back to this. So, my man says, like I said, with the contract situation, some say it's 90, some say it's 100, 110 million, wherever it's at, it's somewhere in there. However, this man says that if we sign 8, just 8, right, of the guys on this list, we are in trouble. So, Trayvon Morig, Marcus Epps, Robert Spillane, Divine Diablo, cornerback Nate Hobbs, defensive end Malcolm Kuntz, and defensive tackle Adam Butler and John Jenkins. So, if we bring back those 8 guys, right, just those 8, Trayvon Morig is projected 15 million per year. Is he going to get that from us? I don't know. I'd say maybe 10, 11, 12, 10, maybe somewhere in there. 15's a lot. But if you look around the league, he's making 6.5 million right now. However, that is ranked 25th in the NFL. So he's going to have to get a bump up, right? Definitely going to have to get a bump up. So that's 15 million there. Robert Spillane. Robert Spillane projected to make 9.5 mil if we sign Robert Spillane next year. I'm not going to read all these because I've been on 2 hours. I'm just going to go through them fast. Malcolm Kuntz is projected to sign for 18.75 mil per year. Now, I don't know if we're going to pay him that. I'm sure other teams might, take a chance and pay him that. I don't know if we are, but that's a lot, right? So I'd say maybe 15 in the 15 range. I'd be willing to give Kuntz anywhere from 12 to 15. I think he definitely has earned that. And getting hurt last year, I thought sucked ass, but that's where I'd be at. So Nate Hobbs right now. So Taron Jackson for the Buffalo Bills nickel corner just got an extension worth $10.25 million. Now, is Nate Hobbs the same as Taron Johnson for the Buffalo Bills? I mean, I'd like to think maybe a little better, in my opinion. So, 12.5, that's if he even gets 8, the projected 8, right? Now, Divine Diablo projected 5.5 mil. We'll get to this in a minute. We'll go back over it. Adam Butler, 6 mil projected per year. He's 31 years old. The value is 8.1 mil. So, somewhere with the open market, 6 mil. Marcus Epps,
if we decide to bring him back, is 4.5 mil. John Jenkins, I don't think is worth bringing back. I don't think the Diablo is, and I don't think Epps is. Just my opinion. But Jenkins would be another 3 mil. That would leave our remaining cap space with 22.25 million. So everybody's saying we have $100 million in cap space, and everybody wants to come to the Las Vegas Raiders because they have all this money to spend. 22.5 2.5 million left on cap space to bring in a franchise quarterback, at least one guard, probably 2 or 3 just so we have depth, probably a tackle, at least minimum 2 running backs. That's if you keep the rookies, Dylan Labe and Zamir White. You're going to have to bring in at least, do you get those in the draft? Do you get those in free agency? You're going to have to bring in another corner. We need a shutdown corner. Now, do you go get Will Johnson at number 1? That's a big question. If we get rid of Divine Diablo, which I wouldn't re-sign Divine Diablo, I don't think he fits this organization. He is a big, big part of why we lost a lot of games, in my opinion. And, there's no iron team. But when you're the guy that 7 missed tackles every game, and a lot of those go for touchdowns are big plays, you're definitely part of the problem and not the solution. So I would not, re-go there. If you sign Spillane, you're still going to need another linebacker. We have Amari Gaynor. We have Tommy Eichenberg. We have guys in the building that we don't know what they are because they didn't get playtime. Why they didn't get playtime, I don't know. They should have got playtime all year with the record we have. So why Eichenberg and, Amari Gaynor, which is the best linebacker we have in the building, didn't get that playtime, I don't know. But you're going to need linebackers. You're going to need probably we could be good on safety. We have Trey Taylor back there. You have, if we bring back Trayvon Morig, you have Marcus Epps. PM, what is fucking PM? So $22.25 million, like I said, to find your franchise quarterback, to find your running backs, to find linebackers, to find corners. Not to mention, there's 27 free agents on this roster. That's only 8 of them. That's only 8 of them. I'll repeat it again. That's only 8 out of 27. So 27 out of 54 leaves us what, 13? Is that right? 18. I don't know. So I can't do math, but somewhere in there. So basically, we don't even have a complete offense and defense right now. We have not enough players. If we don't bring back at least 8 of those guys, we'd have to bring back to just have a 22 to have an offense and a defense. So yes, Spytek is walking into a horrible nightmare. That's why I believe the best decision is not Munkin. It's not going with these young guys. Not now. 2-3 years, bring in Pete Carroll, let him clean up this mess, let him bring guys in the building, that he can get in free agency because he's been around the NFL for a long time. He knows players. He knows how to develop players. Let that man cook in the building for 2-3 years, and hopefully, he brings in a predecessor underneath him and that can take over when he leaves. But that's the plan for me. That's what I think is the best route to go because, like I said, bro, we're in a bad situation. Like everybody keeps saying we have all this money and, we have all these weapons. We have a defense that's top 10. No, we don't have a top 10 defense anymore. That ship has sailed. We lost that opportunity to have one of the best defenses in the NFL. And unless we bring back all those players just mentioned, which all of them were defensive guys, that was just 8 defensive starters. We are very, very bad off. So can Spytek turn this around? That remains to be seen. Him and Brady have their work cut out for them. I think that's why Ben Johnson, who is a brilliant man, and if I can figure this out, I'm sure Ben Johnson, did the numbers, looked at the scenarios, looked at the roster, and was like, there's no way. There's no way, bro. It's going to take 3 years before we could even think about competing in the AFC West. So I believe that's why Ben Johnson decided to dip and go to Chicago. Plus, you got a quarterback already over there in Caleb Williams. So, not to ruin everybody's day, but bro, this team is a lot worse off than you think, and it's going to take a miracle to come in and turn this shit around. Because going through the numbers, out of 8 guys that we need, I mean, we could probably take those 8 guys, take Marcus Epps, take Jenkins, and Divine Diablo off that list. That leaves us 5 guys, right? 5 guys that we must sign that I think need to be back on this roster to help this defense continue to be what it was. I think we can do better than those 3 guys. Epps, I mean, I don't know. He was kind of the leader of the defense, but we did, do pretty well with him injured for the season. And we still have Trey Taylor back there, and Pal Mal's been playing amazing. So, if we don't bring back those 3 guys, let me see what the money was on those. Jenkins is $3 million. Epps is projected 4.5, so that's 7, 8, and Diablo was 5.5, so that's 8, that's 13 mil. So if we don't bring back those 3 guys, that saves us 13 mil, which gives us 35 projected to try to rebuild a team, because that's only 8. That's only 8 of the guys, and a lot of those guys are going to be way cheaper price, but some of those guys are not. Like Kaylavon Chasen, who came in and had a damn good year. You think he's going to play for that 1.2 million we were paying him this season? Absolutely not. He's going to want more money. Jonah Lalu, another defensive lineman that came in and played his ass off this year, and I think we need to bring back, because dude, he was a big part of why this defense stepped up and was playing so good. So if you bring in Jonah Lalu, like, bro, I hate to ruin everybody's day, but like I said, we are in trouble, man. We're in trouble. It's a nightmare. So what's so great about getting Pete Carroll if Ben Johnson won't come here? Because Pete Carroll's like the last chance, and he has experience, and he has guys that he can call and bring in the building, like a lot more than Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson made some phone calls. He got Dennis Allen to come in and be his defensive coordinator. Like, look at the staff he's putting together over there. Like, Pete Carroll's going to come in and make phone calls and have a staff put together like that way faster than Ben Johnson can assemble a staff, in my opinion. So that's why you go with a Pete Carroll. Like, Pete Carroll's got connections, way more connections than Ben Johnson will probably ever have, like, in the NFL, especially if it doesn't work out in Chicago. That might be his last one. Diablo and Epps are not worth signing. No, not in my opinion. I don't know if that was a question or you were telling me, but yeah. Raider Garcia, appreciate you. Cool Kevin, the building. What's good? What's good? Get the Raiders our starting caliber quarterback. I don't know. Y'all confuse me with this English shit. And they will start winning games and stop missing the draft. You got to hit on the first rounds. I mean, we did pretty good last year hitting on the first rounds. How are we going to do this year? That's another thing. Spytek in the building, which Tom Brady wanted, right? Spytek was assistant GM. Assistant GMs, you're throwing names out there. They're asking you questions, but you're not saying, I want this guy, and your general manager is going and getting that guy. So, there's 20 people in that room all picking who they're going to draft. It comes down to a lot of guys. Like, has Spytek ever been in a draft room and, been that guy to make that final decision? No. So that's going to be another big question. And that's why you have a guy like Pete Carroll in there that's been in that draft room, that's made those decisions, right? To, Spytek says, I think this is the guy we really need to go with that. And then Pete Carroll is going to have a definite, smart response, calculated response on why he thinks that's not the guy if he doesn't believe that's the guy. And I think that's going to help this organization not miss on the draft, not miss in free agency. Because again, like, Spytek's new to this, just like Tom Brady. And if you have a new owner, partial owner, and a new GM, do you really want a new head coach? Fuck no. 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 You want experience. You want somebody that's been there, that's done that knows how to get around this shit, that knows how to help, build a camaraderie, build a culture, which I thought the culture was there, but we need somebody to change that direction. Faux show. And I think Pete Carroll gives us that more than any other candidate out there. There's no other guy that I can think of that has the clout that Pete Carroll is going to have in the NFL, that is going to have that experience or that knowledge. So, what does this say? Hey Rebel, is that 100 million figured into the 10 or 20 million that cap space is supposed to go up for 2025? No, it's not figured in, and the report has it as we have 92.8 million, which that would only leave us 2022. So I think we have like 109, I believe, and then it's supposed to go up. So, but we also have to factor in that we're probably going to move on from Andre James. I hope. We're definitely probably going to move on from Cody Whitehair. That's going to save us some space. Hopefully we just release Gardner Minshew and move on from Gardner. That'll free up some space. So, I mean, I don't want to be negative, Nancy. It's not, all negative. There are some positives, but man, it's with 27 free agents, it's a lot of work to try to do with 30 or 40 million, with 30 or 40 million dollars, bro. That's a long way to go. It's a lot of shit. So, Diablo needs to bounce for sure. Yeah, he's not worth paying. Goodbye, garbage Minshew. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there are ways, right? There are ways we can get around it. There are going to be there are some changes made, and we also have to not forget about if Patrick Graham gets a job, we get 2 third-round picks, right? We get a third round this year, I do believe, and a third round next year. So everybody cross their fingers and wish for Patrick Graham to get a coaching job, whether it's Jacksonville, whether it's the New Orleans Saints, wherever it ends up. But I really think Mike McCarthy is probably going to end up as the Saints head coach. Maybe Patrick Graham ends up in Jacksonville, unless they have somebody that they haven't talked to yet or haven't interviewed yet. I think he might get, might sneak in there. But yeah, pray everybody, keep your fingers crossed. Keep Patrick Graham in your prayers to get a head coaching job, because we need that extra third round pick, bro. That would give us 3 third rounds this year. That would be insane. Mark said last year he didn't want a rookie coach and GM. So I'm guessing that we get a veteran head coach. I mean, that's 100% facts and a damn good point, Chef. He did say that. But they also said they didn't want to put a Band-Aid on the quarterback position. I'm not gonna break everybody down, but they said a lot of shit that didn't happen. So, with that, anybody else got anything else to say, anything else to talk about? I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna get lunch. Go back doing my shit. But as always, Raiders. Much love, nation. Unless Brady just wants selfish blood, we don't know what intentions are, my guy, and it's going to be a minute. Everybody has that question. Why does Brady want to come to one of the worst franchises when he's a winner, right? Is it because money? Is it because he knows, Mark Davis is an idiot? And I'm sorry, Mark Davis, I didn't. Not an idiot. Mark Davis is not very smart when it comes to the football aspect of things. And, I feel like, and I don't want to be that guy to hate on it, but I still feel like Tom Brady, has some kind of motive. I don't know what it is. and maybe it's the fact that he thinks he can push over Mark Davis and have more control of this team than we think. So I don't know. I don't know what his motives are. I don't know why he would want to take over a sinking ship unless it's just he's his head's that big and he's like, bro, this is the job, I can do it, and what's it gonna do for my future if I turn this team around? So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, got to keep Robbie Leonard. Hey, they denied him talks, so that's a good thing. And that could be another problem too, though, is the Raiders wanting to keep guys around. If you wanted to keep Robbie Leonard, if you wanted to keep these guys, you probably should have just went with Antonio Pierce at this point. Like, gave him a chance, because so far it has not turned out like anybody expected, right? Everybody thought Tom Telesco was fired for Ben Johnson. Everybody thought, AP was let go because we had a chance to get Ben Johnson. That wasn't the case. And now we just look like that clown organization in a circus carnival in a high school parking lot, like Colin Cowherd would say. But yeah, man, hopefully Spytek is that guy. And hopefully him and Brady, with whoever they bring in, hopefully it's Pete Carroll. And man, hopefully, get this afloat again and have it, you know, sailing in the right direction, because damn, it's been a long, long time. And with that, I gotta say also is, what do we have to lose, right? At this point, what do you have to lose taking a shot on Carroll? Like, you went after Dick Daniels. You hired Antonio Pierce to be your head coach. How could Pete Carroll be any worse, right? Real question is, what? Why wouldn't a competitor of his caliber want to take on a challenge and become an owner of one of the most successful building brands images in the league? I mean, that's a good question too. Damn good question. And you know, as you said, with him being the competitor that he is maybe he looked at it like this is the way to go. But I don't believe that, bro. I just don't believe that. There's, the Browns are just as bad as us. Like, you can even say the Detroit Lions. I mean, the Detroit Lions have lost just as many, one less game than we have in the last 30 years, bro. So, I mean, the Carolina Panthers, there's teams that are struggling that you can turn around. Why was it the Raiders? And with that, I'm gonna let y'all wander in your shit. But much love, appreciate y'all. See y'all tomorrow. Raiders. Peace. Hopefully this live gets me monetized. I was 2 hours away. I think y'all did it.